It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-why discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Waking Up with Wesley is sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.
All right, good morning, South Mississippi. Obviously, Wesley Williams not in this morning. This is Meteorologist Taylor Graham joining you from the newsroom to give you another inside look at your forecast for today and throughout the rest of the week. We really have a nice stretch of weather up ahead. Now, even though it is nice, downside is we do need more rain and we just don't have much of it in the forecast. But this morning, it's been nice and comfortable to kick off the work week. We'll go ahead and take a look at those current temperatures. This is as of about 8:30 this morning. We're still seeing the upper 60s, low to mid 70s. We've also got a good bit of sunshine out there at this point. So these 60s and 70s not going to be lasting much longer. Over the next few hours, we will continue to warm up. And many of us today are going to be topping out in the upper 80s and even the low 90s this afternoon. We can see there on our tower camera a good bit of sunshine. So it is going to be another hot day today. A little bit on the humid side, not as bad as what we get during the middle of summer, but you may notice it feeling a little sticky at times here or there. A lot of sunshine in the forecast today. There is a small chance for a stray shower or two this afternoon. Many of us are going to stay dry. Now, if you have plans to take the boat out today, your marine forecast is looking pretty nice. We've had a little bit more of a northerly wind this morning. Over the Sound later today, winds will be shifting from the south and east. Seas at about 1 to 2 feet over the Sound. Offshore seas could be as high as 3 feet. Generally speaking, we are looking at a light to moderate chop today with plenty of sunshine. We've already passed high tide this morning, and we will be coming up on low tide throughout the end of the afternoon and early this evening for Bay St. Louis, right around 6:30 or so. No surprise there, our water temperature also remains pretty warm at this time in the mid 80s. As of this morning, satellite and radar have been very quiet. We have seen a few clouds here or there, not really seeing any rain at this time. To find any rain, we can look to our north and north Mississippi. Looks like they've got a little bit of a disturbance passing by, creating some showers, even a few thunderstorms. For us today, our rain chances are looking pretty slim. I do want to show you the upper level pattern. We've got a little bit of an area of low pressure to our east along the eastern seaboard, a ridge of high pressure to our north. And we're more so under the influence of that ridge, I would say, with us staying dry and also warm today. But upper level winds are mainly out of the north. And so if we were to see a few showers develop today, there's a chance they're likely going to move in from the north to the south. That being said, though, rain chances are still looking very slim. You'll be lucky if you see a shower today for those of you that have been wanting more rain. On the other hand, it's going to be a really nice day to spend some time outside. Now, of course, in the afternoon, it's going to be hot. We'll see plenty of sunshine. I do highly recommend wearing some sunscreen, but all in all, today looks pretty nice if you want to spend some time outdoors, maybe head out to the beach. Overnight tonight, it's more of the same. We'll keep the sky mostly clear. We will be cooling back down into the 60s and low 70s in the morning. By the afternoon, it's almost just a repeat of today. We'll heat back up into the upper 80s and low 90s. Futurecast is hinting at a few isolated showers. Generally speaking, though, our rain chances are going to be pretty slim over the next several days. So don't count on much substantial rain here in South Mississippi. I know a lot of us could use some of that extra rain. It's just not in the forecast this week. There's a small chance for, or a slightly better chance for a few showers by the end of the week and into the weekend. But even then, just not looking like much. Now, last week, the drought monitor was released, and it did place pretty much all of South Mississippi under abnormally dry conditions, even a few spots seeing a moderate drought at this time. Based off of the forecast this week, I wouldn't be surprised if some other areas were upgraded to a moderate drought. We'll get the latest drought monitor released by Thursday. I'll be curious to see how much more they expand drought conditions. But it's not just us. Southeast Louisiana, parts of South Alabama, also a little bit too dry, a little bit drier than normal for this time of the year. Even though we typically do see drier conditions by the end of September and into October, but we do have a deficit of rainfall so far this month. Today is the 15th, so we are now halfway through the month. We have not had any measurable rainfall so far recorded in Gulfport. That is at the Gulfport-Biloxi International Airport. Our normal month-to-date rainfall at this point, just under 3 inches. We just have not really seen any of that rain. Near Moss Point, where we also keep some of those records, we've had 1/100th an inch of rainfall recorded. Very similar to Gulfport, where the average or the typical normal month-to-date rainfall at this point is also just under 3 inches. And it really does not look like we're going to be picking up much rain at all over the next few days. Now, again, we could see a few of those stray showers. Those likely will not amount to much. I would say forecast rainfall amounts likely going to be less than 1/10 of an inch in many locations. Many spots this week, likely not even going to see any rain at all. This is a rainfall forecast through next Monday. We can see their rainfall amounts are looking to be pretty light. In terms of the humidity, not horrible, a little bit on the humid side. We do expect dew points to mainly stay in the 60s. And during the middle of summer, we can get dew points in the 70s, even in the 80s. So while it is going to be a little bit humid, nothing that we can't handle around here. Certainly doesn't look like it's going to be overly muggy anytime soon, but you may notice it feeling a bit sticky at times. Still not expecting any real significant big fall cold front at this point. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Hopefully by October, if you've been wanting some more fall-like weather, we're going to see that. But at least over the next 7 days, a little humid, definitely hot in the afternoons with highs close to 90. One really good thing, though, the tropics, at least for the Gulf Coast, things are going to be pretty quiet over the next few days. Not really expecting any impacts along the Gulf Coast in terms of the tropics. Now, we do have a tropical wave in the pretty much the central Atlantic that has a very high chance of becoming either a depression or tropical storm by the end of the week. For the time being, it's looking fairly disorganized, but by the middle to end of the week, there's a decent chance that it's going to be developing a little bit more. Conditions are looking more favorable. It's been fighting some dry air recently, which is why it hasn't been able to get its act together just yet. But this is our in-house model latest run of Futurecast. It does show some slow development with the system by the middle of the week, and by the end of the week, it may be wrapping up just a little bit more. Other than that, there are no other areas highlighted at this time from the National Hurricane Center. Now, again, this will very likely become our next named tropical system. The next name on the list is Gabrielle. So far this season, we've only had one hurricane. That was Hurricane Aaron, and even though that was our only hurricane, it did end up becoming a major Category 5 storm. Thankfully, Aaron, for the most part, remained out at sea. And hopefully, this next system also will remain out at sea. That's what most forecast models are hinting at this time. But there's a lot of unknowns right now. Until it gets a well-defined center, we'll see some uncertainty with where exactly it's going to go. But generally speaking, looks like for the time being, it's going to be remaining out at sea. No Gulf Coast threats expected at least over the next 5 to 7 days. But we are still a ways away from the end of hurricane season. Today is the middle of September, where history tells us we usually see more tropical activity, more tropical storms and hurricanes. It just so happens that this year, so far, September has been relatively quiet. I don't think any of us really complaining about that. Now here in the Gulf and the Caribbean, we certainly can still get tropical systems throughout the month of October. So while this week is looking quiet for us, we still can't let our guard down. Hurricane season far from over. And again, it's not unheard of by any means that we could see some tropical systems throughout the month of October. So something we will continue to monitor over the next several weeks. But as for your forecast this week, very quiet in South Mississippi. That's great news if you want to spend some time outside. It's still going to be hot in the afternoons, high temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s. The morning's fairly comfortable in the 60s and 70s. The downside to such a beautiful forecast is that we do need more rain. Just does not look like we're going to see much of it over the next several days. So if you have a sprinkler system, you're probably going to be getting some nice use out of that. You maybe need to give your plants a little extra water. because Mother Nature is not really going to be providing that, it looks like, anytime soon. So just a heads up there, but otherwise, a really nice forecast if you want to be spending some time outside. So we will be having our midday newscast coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll have another update on your forecast and also the latest local and national news. So hopefully you can join us then for 11 o'clock on WLOX.
Waking Up with Wesley has been sponsored by Exclusive Auto Brokers. For the best deals on wheels, visit Exclusive Auto Brokers on Beatline Road in Long Beach.